The first woman in history to become an admiral was not a modern officer. She was not from the 20th century. She was a mother of 7 children, and she had been widowed twice. Her name was Laskarina Bubulina, and she lived in the early 1800s. Her story is one you were never taught. It is a saga of impossible power, built by one woman against an entire empire. The world she was born into was not free. For 400 years, her home, Greece, was ruled by a very big empire, the Ottomans. The people of Greece were subjects, not citizens. They had little power. But whispers of freedom were growing louder. A secret group was formed, called the Philiki Etaria. Their plan was simple and dangerous. They wanted to make Greece its own country, free from outside rule. Laskarina's power came from the sea. She was not just a rich woman, she was the head of a huge shipping business. Both of her husbands had been sea captains. Both were killed by pirates. She inherited their ships and their money. But she did not step aside. She took command. She built new ships and made smart deals. This brave widow became one of the richest people in the country. Her great wealth gave her a power that no one else had. She could do things that others could only dream of. And she had a plan to use every bit of it for the cause of freedom. The empire had a strict rule for the Greek people. They were not allowed to build large warships. It was a law designed to keep them weak. Laskarina decided to break that law. She used her huge fortune to bribe officials. She found clever ways around the rules. Then, in secret, she began to build a ship bigger and stronger than any Greek had built in centuries. It was a massive warship named the Agamemnon, an act of pure defiance. But this was not just a political fight for her. It was a mother's war. Laskarina had 7 children. Her sons and the men her daughters married would all fight in the coming revolution. Many of them would serve as captains on her own ships under her command. She was a matriarch, a powerful mother leading her family into a battle for their future. This fight was deeply personal. That big ship, the Agamemnon, was not the only one. It was just the start. Laskarina Bubulina spent almost all her money to build her own private fleet. Think about that. Not a country's navy, a one-woman navy. She bought the wood for the ships. She bought the cannons to arm them. She even paid the salaries of every captain and every sailor who sailed for her. This was her war, funded from her own pocket. This fleet was her promise made real, a promise to free her people. It was a force built not by a king or a government, but by the will of a single, determined mother. Now, picture her on the deck of her flagship. She wasn't safe in a palace, giving orders from far away. She was in the middle of the fight. During the siege of Nafplio, a key enemy fort, she led the attack herself. She stood there, a captain among her crew. Armed with her own pistol, she directed the cannon fire. She shouted commands, her voice cutting through the smoke and the chaos of battle. This was her strategy. To lead from the front, to show her sailors that their captainess was just as fearless as they were. Her bravery was a weapon, as powerful as any cannon on her ships. Later, the Greek forces captured a huge city called Tripolitsa. It was the enemy's main city in that part of the country. When the city fell, the fighting turned ugly. But then, Bubulina did something shocking. The women from the enemy leader's family were trapped. Everyone expected the worst for them. But Laskarina stepped in. She, a woman whose own family had been hurt by the empire, risked her own life to save them. She showed mercy when no one else would. So what was the price for all this? For the ships, the battles, the bravery? The cost was everything she had. The woman who started the war as one of the richest people in Greece ended it with almost nothing. She had sold it all: her trading business, her other ships, her wealth. All of it was poured into the war for freedom. Her entire fortune was the price for a new nation. Decades after she was gone, her story reached the Emperor of Russia. He was a man who knew navies, a czar named Alexander I. He studied the Greek war, looking at the plans and the battles. He was amazed by her mind, her courage, and her leadership. So he did something no one had ever done. He gave this widow, long after her death, the title of Admiral of the Imperial Russian Navy. She became the first woman in history to hold such a rank. But a hero's ending is not always what we expect. She did not die in a great battle at sea with flags flying and cannons roaring. Her end was small and sad and deeply human. Years after the war, with her money all spent for her country, she stood on the balcony of her own home. A bitter family fight over a secret marriage turned ugly, and Laskarina Bubulina, the great captainess, was shot and killed. So why isn't her name known everywhere, like other great heroes of war? The answer reveals how history is often told. History books love simple stories about formal armies led by kings and generals. They don't know what to do with a rich widow who builds her own navy. Her story doesn't fit the neat boxes. And so, a woman who changed the world can be slowly forgotten, her true power hidden in plain sight. But in Greece, she is remembered. She is a founding mother of the nation. Her statue stands in harbors, watching over the sea she once commanded. She is a permanent symbol of courage. Her life proves a powerful truth. A hero can come from anywhere. A hero can be a mother, a business owner, a widow. A hero is anyone who sees the world they are given and decides to build a better one. Her story is a key. It unlocks a hidden part of history filled with powerful women who broke the rules. They didn't wait for permission to lead armies or change nations. They simply did it. Think about it. How many other stories like hers are waiting in the shadows? How many other queens, captains, and commanders have been erased, just waiting for someone to find them and speak their names once more?